start streaming. And hopefully this will all work. I've got quite a setup right now. All right, looks like we're starting the stream. And we're going to get the Amazon one going here in a second as well. So I am back again. I'm all casual today because it's the day after Thanksgiving. And what I want to do today, let me get Amazon going here. Wait for Amazon to come on. All right, now we're on both. So what I wanted to do today was play around with the Oculus Quest and capture some footage because they've just added the ability to connect the Quest up to your PC, and you can use now the Quest like it's an Oculus Rift. And I think that is a really cool development. So that is what we're going to play with today. I've spent the last 20 minutes or so getting everything all set up on the other side of the room. So if you want to see that, we've got more cameras and stuff over there. So we're going to have this cool two-up shot here. Let me see if I can find it on my thing here. Oops, that's not the right one. DDR, where did it go? ME2. There we go. So we're going to have that as our two-up shot there. So what we're going to be doing is using the magic of Chromecast. We're going to have the Oculus stream to an NVIDIA Shield, which will then fill in the rest of the screen here. So that is what we are doing. And it looks like Smoke Monster's here and Dr. Phoebe Rises. So we got some of our regulars in here. And I just have to go back to my Amazon app here because we are live streaming on Amazon. Now what I'm going to do first before we turn everything on is show you what you need to do this. And surprisingly, even in its current beta form, it's working really well. So the first thing you need, of course, is the Oculus Quest headset. Now this is an all-in-one VR device. You don't need a PC for this at all. It's a surprisingly good VR experience. They are adding the ability later this year to be able to actually track hand movement using the built-in sensors on this thing. It is a remarkable VR device, especially for the price. Incidentally, if you go to Amazon in my link below, it is on sale today. So I think you can get I think it's the 64 gig version for the price of the 32. So that's a pretty good deal there. DVD King, send me an email if you want to chat about that, Lon@Lon.TV. So that's this. Now, if you are watching the stream now, what we're doing today is capturing some footage that I can use for a video that I plan to shoot probably tomorrow. So we will have a regular recorded video about all of this. So I see Martin here can only stay for about 30 minutes. So hopefully, when I get the video, at least all the B-roll shot here, we'll be able to do all that. So that's the headset. Now the headset has a USB Type-C connector here on the side. And of course, that's what you use to charge it. Generally, you get about 2-3 hours-ish out of this on a charge. And to be honest with you, that's about as much as I can take before I have to take it off and rest my eyes because I'm old. So you could operate it obviously with the cable plugged in. And what they're doing for this PC thing is actually streaming the PC's output through the USB-C port on here. So you can get the PC going into the headset with a cable. And the only issue, though, is that the cable that this comes with is not the cable that this works with. You have to go out and get a different cable. Now, Facebook, who is the parent company of Oculus, is going to come out with a fiber optic USB-C cable. But I found cables I had kicking around here actually worked. But I did go out and buy another cable just to get a little bit more length to things. So I'm going to pull up this for the folks on Amazon right now, the Anchor USB cable that I bought. Where did it go? This is not it. Where did it go? Here it is. So this is nothing fancy. It's just a USB-C to USB-A cable. The reason why this cable works and the cable that came with the Oculus does not is because the Oculus cable that it ships with is a USB 2.0 cable. This is a USB 3 cable. Again, this is from Anchor. They recommend you get the 56K ohm cable to prevent over voltage or something. So, get this one. It'll work. Now, I bought a 6-foot cable, and then when I went back to the listing today on Amazon, they're only selling it as a 3-foot. So make note of the link that I have there because I think they are just selling out of these because everybody who has a Quest is buying them up. And of course, Anker makes some good cables. I did see that there's an Amazon Basics cable that also worked. In fact, before I bought this cable, I had a little 3-foot Amazon Basics cable that did get the job done. But again, remember, you need to make sure that you get a USB 3 to USB-C cable, or this won't work. It's going to push a lot of data through all of that. So I got a couple of questions here before we move on to the next cable that I got to give me a little bit extra length here. Ozzy Safa wants, first of all, hello Hussein, who's from Bahrain. Hope you're doing well out there. I think it's kind of later in the evening there, so thanks for tuning in. Ozzy Safa wants to know, does it let you use the Oculus Quest mic when connected via the link? And that I do not know. I will have to research that question for you. I think, and don't quote me, I think that part isn't working just yet. But maybe we'll try that out in a little bit. I'm sure it will be working at some point, so there's no, I would say if you're looking at getting a Quest, today's the day, because they've got some good deals on Amazon for this one. Now, what I also bought, and I'm going to update my Amazon streaming app here to reflect the item I am currently looking at. I also got, and this is something I bought a while ago, this is a Cable Matters USB extension cable, USB 3, because you need that, and I think this one is like 10 feet, so when I take this cable and this one, I've got 16 feet, which is actually longer than my Vive Pro cable. And what's cool about the Quest is that you only need a single cable to make it all work. My Vive Pro has a bunch of cables that kind of terminate into one, but you got this huge amount of cabling that you're always stretching behind you. I found this to be a much more comfortable VR experience. So that is the overall configuration of what we're going to talk about here. And if I'm going to start making my way to the other side of the room here in a second, and for those of you who are tuning in and staying tuned in, I am sure I'm going to get questions about the cabling, and I'm going to be in this headset. I am going to jump back and forth and take questions in between games and stuff, so if you all could just help out the folks in the chat and let them know that we have a link in the YouTube description for all of the different components that we're looking at here right now. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I am going to pull up my other viewpoint, and there we go. And what we're going to do first is get the Oculus to stream over to my Shield, and then from there we should be able to get things going here. Now the computer I am working with today for the PC side of this VR experiment is a Dell Alienware. This is an Alienware 15 that I'm going to be using. And let me see if you can see me here. Here I am. It's an Alienware 15 that I'm going to be using, and it's got a GTX 1070 on board. So it should be good enough for some basic VR. It's not going to be crazy good, but it's good enough. My computer upstairs has a 1080. And what's funny is I've been reluctant to upgrade. And the reason is that, I got to get my keyboard here. The reason I've been reluctant to upgrade my GPU is that I'm not seeing like huge gains with the new RTX cards, so I'm kind of waiting on what they end up with there. So now I just want to do one thing before we start, and that is get our input 5, which is going to be our Oculus. I'm just going to give it some audio here so we can hear what I'm streaming. And this works really well. So here's the thing. I have found that it doesn't always work. Let me get my other camera up here for a second here. Okay. I have found that it doesn't always work on the first USB port that you try. So for example, my Alienware here, if I plug it into the left port, it doesn't work. If I plug it into the right port, it does. And I found the same issue with my computer upstairs, so it's one of those hit or miss kind of things. Now, once you get the Oculus software installed on your computer, you're done. You don't have to actually do anything else. It just connects up and you are ready to go. And I thought that was incredibly easy, especially for a beta. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just plugging in the extension cable. And again, if you want to see which cables I'm using, I've got a link on the video description here that'll take you right to Amazon so you can see everything. So we've got the extension cable, and then we've got the USB-C cable, the Anker cable. And you can see how much room I have here from the computer. A good amount of space. So that is good. We're going to move the chair over here so I don't trip over it. And the next thing we're going to do is connect up to the Shield with the Oculus, and I've got to find my other phone to do that with. Where did I put the other phone? Must be over there. Let me grab that real quick, and then we'll get this thing going. I'll tell you what, I am a big fan of virtual reality. I think it is awesome. I think it's underrated. And I am quite pleased with just how far it has come. And I think it's also giving us a good indicator of how far GPU technology needs to go. Now, one thing with, as we're getting started here, one thing to note is that this is not going to be as good as a true PC VR experience, primarily because the Oculus runs only at like 72 hertz or something for its frame rate. So on the higher end stuff, like my Vive Pro upstairs, that's 90. The new headset from Valve, the Valve Index, that one's running super high, like 120, 144 frames per second. Pretty wild stuff. Excuse me. All right. Got to caffeinate. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is just get our headset streaming to the Shield. And one of the cool things with the Oculus Quest is that it supports Chromecasting when it decides to work. Now it's not connecting. Let me try this again. There we go, nearby. Okay, so I'm going to go hit start here. Oops. Let me put this on real quick and see if that might work better. All right. I think they're on the same Wi-Fi here. See, there's always something when I do my streams that something's not going to work right. So I'm going to create a Guardian here real quick, so just bear with me. So in case you're wondering, this will basically become an Oculus Rift, but you have to set the Guardian on the Quest side first. So I found the floor. You're not seeing what I'm working on right now just because I have to get this thing connected first. Now, if you are curious as to how the Oculus Quest works, I did a full review that you can find on my channel. And I have a feeling that once I confirm this, we should be able to start streaming. Actually, I bet you I could stream from in here, can't I? So let's go over to settings, sharing, and we're going to cast it. And I'm going to select, boy, I've got a lot of stuff in this house. All right, and hopefully that will, there was an error and your streaming has stopped. Of course it has, because I'm trying to get something to work while I'm streaming live, and that's when things never work. Whoops, I almost fell out of my chair. So I am going to just pop into this other computer here and keep an eye on the chat room. And in the meantime here, I may have to reboot the Oculus to get this working. So I'm trying to get you to see what I see. Let's start this again. All right, now I think I've got something going here. All right. I think I had too many sharing requests going at once. And what happens here is that I think the phone acts as kind of an intermediary. Start. And let's see. I'm waiting to see if there's a thing that's going to pop up in my headset here. See, this was working great yesterday when I was just playing with stuff, but today, no dice. So what I might do is actually reboot the Oculus here. All right, there we go. And I think, yeah, okay, perfect. So now right now we're in the regular Oculus interface. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the cable here, and we're going to go into Oculus Rift mode. And I just have to, and I think you might be able to see this on here too. Yeah, so I'm going to say allow. And what will happen here is my regular Oculus interface will bleed away. Yeah, see, now it's doing this thing it was doing before. Let's try this again here. Let me swap the cable direction here. Let's see if that does anything. All right, this device will be able to access files. Okay, we're going to let that go through. And let's see. See, stuff never works when I go live. This was all working just fine a few minutes ago. I was even casting yesterday, just testing all of this stuff out. And what I'm trying to do, access to data. Yeah, see, it's not even asking me to, all right, this device will be able to access files in this headset. Move your head. All right, so I'm going to swap the USB ports again. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to reboot. And this is why this is kind of still in beta. So things don't always work on the first shot. But let's see if it happens this time. But I can guarantee you that I was trying this before I started streaming, just to see if everything was going to work correctly. And we will see how it goes. All right. And my goal for this stream today, all right, allow access to data. I think I'm going to have to reboot here. My goal with this stream today is just to show you how this performs as a PC headset, if I can get it working. So I think I'm going to reboot the Oculus here because it doesn't seem to be cooperating. So let me go over to the button here and reboot. And I'll take some questions while it reboots. And we'll go restart. Okay. So again, we're in beta mode here, everybody. So this is the kind of stuff that happens. But what I will do in the interim is, sorry, apologize for the mess here. I will take, here I am. I will take some questions from all of you. And I've got questions coming in from a bunch of different places. So we'll see what we get. Yeah, I don't think I should have to update the shield for this because this is kind of unrelated. But we will see. I think it just rebooted. So let me go back over here. And when it comes back up, because that USB cable is connected, it should detect it on the PC. And if worse comes to worse, I'll skip the extension cable and just plug in directly. But I guarantee you this was working before. Like it was working 20 minutes ago, but now it's not. I'm going to confirm my Guardian. And let's see if it picks it up on the PC side. And if this doesn't work, I need to make sure the Oculus software is running. So I'm going to unplug this and plug this back in again. And we're going to say allow. And let's see what happens here. Yeah, so I think we're going to need to reboot some software next. And this was the USB port that it didn't like. So I'm going to pull this out. And I'm going to shut down the Oculus software completely. And then we'll go from there. So let's go back to Oculus. See, this happens every time I do any kind of thing live. The stuff that works before I go live stops working. It's just the nature of the beast. All right, so the Oculus software is back up. We're going to plug in the USB cable once again. And then, hopefully, this will all work. Let's see. There we go. Enable Oculus Link. That's what I've been waiting for. We are going to enable that. All right. Now. Oh, all right, it's doing this again. Let me start streaming to the... This is killing me because this was working just fine like 20 minutes before I started the stream. Okay. Yeah, it's really, it's very particular about the type of USB that you connect to it. So what I'm going to do now is just swap them out again and see if this improves anything. And if it doesn't, what we're going to do is skip the extension cable and just plug in directly. All right. Yeah, see, it's doing this again. All right. I'm going to deny this and see if it... So it's a combination of trying to get everything to work properly together. It's just killing me because this was all working like perfectly fine a few minutes ago. All right, so the next step here is we are going to reboot the computer. And this, folks, is why this is in beta. So let's reboot the computer real quick. And while we're doing that, I will take some more of your questions. So let me pull up camera 7. Hi, everybody. So let's see what we've got for questions so far here. 102 of you are watching this disaster unfold, so thank you all for that. I got to find my other phone because I'm also keeping track of the Amazon stuff. So Not Frank Castle wants to know if I have any favorite VR games. Yeah, I do have a few, and we're going to look at a couple of them today if I get this working. One of my favorites right now is No Man's Sky, just because it's so well executed. G-Dot says I haven't updated my Shield, and he is correct about that. I have not. That one, at least that one hasn't been updated. So, all right, so now the computer is back. So let's take a look at how this is coming together there. And Smoke Monster wants to know the main differences between the Rift S, and the Quest. So the original Rift has a faster frame rate. So that one's running at 90 frames per second. I believe the Rift S has a higher resolution, but a lower frame rate. And then the Quest, I think, is the same resolution as the Rift S, but the frame rate is like 72 hertz or 70 hertz, somewhere in that range. And that's not a big deal breaker. Jesus, excuse me. Let me just get this thing working here. That's not a big deal breaker, but it is something that, here, I get this Oculus thing going again. It is something that you would notice if you are, if you're really used to that 90 hertz. But the problem is that the VR games have been getting more and more demanding. And as a result of that, it's getting harder to hit that frame rate. And I've been noticing that on my PC upstairs. Because when I first got into VR, the games were running really nicely. And now the newer ones, they're pushing the hardware further. And they're pushing the hardware in such a way that it's hard to get it to really work. So that has been something I have been noticing. All right, take 3 on this. Let's see if we can get this thing to work now. All right, so now it lost my guard. There it goes. Okay. So I'm going to unplug and plug back in again. Yeah, it's still doing this. So let me switch to the other USB port. And if this doesn't work, then it looks like this cable is like suddenly stopped working. Maybe we'll reboot the headset again to see if it works. All right, so Enable Oculus Link now is coming on. So I'm going to enable that. Yeah, it's still doing it. Gosh darn it. Yeah, it's just not functioning right now. Okay, so now what we're going to do to get around this problem is we're going to get rid of this extension cable, and we're just going to go off the 6-foot cable, which will create other problems. So let's see if this solves some of the issues we're having here. This cable works upstairs. It worked on this very computer just a few minutes ago. But now, for some reason, it doesn't want to cooperate. So we're going to slide the computer out a little bit here. And I'm going to plug directly in with this 6-foot cable, which is going to dramatically reduce the area in which I can move around, but it will at least give you some ideas to how this works. And by the way, these are the issues you are going to encounter with your Oculus when you get these things going. And this is probably why that longer extension cable is going to work better. All right. Okay, finally. Okay, so let me make sure you all see this. Okay, you don't see this yet. So now what I need to do is go to my phone and get the thing to stream from my phone. And I may have to reset up the Guardian here also because things are all out of whack. And see, this is part of the issue you have these days with VR, is that things tend to get a little flaky, a little bit flaky. All right, so let's do this. We're going to go cast 2. All right, so now this thing is not finding. It's like a comedy. It's a comedy. It's like almost a comedy show. Like nothing. Here it goes. Pro. Start. All right, there we go. Now we're going to have the headset respond to that. I was supposed to get a request to say, yes, you're not seeing that yet, are you? Headcast. Okay, there we go. So now you're seeing it. Perfect. Okay. Now I think we're making progress here. Now I got stuff all over the place, and I have no idea what's doing what here. So let's go to notifications. Okay, so it looks like the issue we were having here was related to the USB port on my laptop here, along with the fact that the headset was not seeing things properly. All right, so now we are in the Oculus home screen. And what I thought I would do first here is show you how you might get Steam VR to work. So let me go over, let me get rid of this notification thing. I think what I need to do is actually reset the boundaries here. All right, there we go. So let me stand up here for a second. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let's see if we can, yeah, see this is still not working right. Yeah, like the tracking is totally off right now. So let me go back to, so you know what I'm going to do now? This is working. I'm going to disconnect the headset briefly, and we're going to reset the Guardian up on this side. And I'm going to turn this on. Yeah, jeez. All right, so guess what, guys and gals? We need to restart the stupid headset again. So let's do that. By the way, this is not something that was happening before. So we're going to do one more reset here, and then we should be good. Now, what's going to happen is that we will be in a smaller area. So when I'm upstairs on my big PC, for whatever reason, the USB port is more cooperative than this current one is. So one of the things that I'm learning from this exercise is that your computer is going to be a big determining factor here as to what works and how well. So just be prepared for that. So let's go back in here, and we're going to set up a new Guardian. And you have to do the Guardian setup again on the actual Rift or the Quest side. And then when you plug in, that Guardian carries over into the PC Rift mode. All right, so now it remembered the Guardian I had before, so I'm just going to go with that. And then what I'm going to do here, while I'm inside of this thing, is I'm going to start casting to the shield. And let's go to the Pro. Next. Okay, and now I want to confirm that you all can see this. You can. All right, so now we're inside the Quest cast right now. And when I switch over to the link mode, what's really cool is that the casting gets better because the headset isn't really doing anything beyond just casting what image it's transmitting from the PC. So the PC is doing all the work. All right, let's go Oculus Link, enable. Come on, work, 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 work. All right, there we go. Okay, so now I can't stand up too much here because I don't have a lot of room. Oh, no! Crashed again. There we go. Okay. So here we are in my Oculus home screen. And what I want to do is get rid of this stuff here. What is all this stuff? Reload. Okay. So let's let our holodeck here rejigger itself. Hopefully you all still see this. You do. Okay. All right. Finally, now we can start making some progress. So now we're going to go to the menu. And why does this menu look different than it did 5 minutes ago? Press the menu. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go over to my library. And one of the things that I'm noticing with this, even when it's working properly, is that it's a little flaky. So what I'm going to do first here is load up the Vader Immortal game. And this is a game that's on both Oculus Quest and on the regular PC-based Oculus. And there's a number of games that you'll buy for the Quest that are cross-platform, and then you'll have it available in both areas there. So that's a pretty cool thing. And I'm glad this is finally working. Hopefully the stream is still going. Yes, it is. Perfect. Okay. And I'll get to questions in between games here, everybody. So just write them on there, and I'll go back. And this is a really fun experience. I did a lot on this one in my original review. It's a really cool Star Wars thing. It really immerses you quite nicely. And what's nice about the Quest is that you can disable the Guardian or make it really large, so you can kind of walk around this world. They've done a really nice job with this. All right, so now what we can do here is go to Standard. And I'm going to go to settings and see if I can turn the video settings up a little bit, because so it's, see, right now it's going to high, so the quality of the imagery will be better using the PC. And again, we're running the PC version right now. And I'm going to go to chapter select. I don't think I've played it on this PC yet, so we'll just start off the experience here and just give you a sense of it. And what's surprising to me, because I have played this on the PC before, what's surprising to me about this is that the PC version is great, but the Quest version is really good. I mean, if you were to go and play this, I think a lot of people would have a hard time knowing which version they were playing on. And so you start off in the ship here. I mean, look at the detail on this. It's crazy. And so what we have to do is flick these switches here. So I can say this does look a little bit cleaner than... All right, here we go, folks. Come on, hyperdrive. Uh-oh. All right, I'm pushing it. I pushed it, didn't I? There we go. I mean, isn't this amazing? So it feels like it runs a little bit smoother in here. I am seeing some tracking glitchiness to it. And again, this is all in beta, so it'll get better as things go on. And I have a very narrow Guardian here, which is why you might see the Guardian pop up. But it looks like it's going pretty nicely. So again, if you buy this on the Oculus Quest, you get the PC version as part of the deal. And there are 3 episodes. This is the first one. I haven't bought the other 2 yet. And now it wants me to turn and jump into the back of the ship here. Now, if I had a larger Guardian, I could walk around this whole area and do some exploration of the ship. So in the meantime, I can move around a little bit and see some of the items and interact with them. I think I can pick up this helmet here. Yeah, so you can pick up stuff and put the helmet on. Pretty neat. So yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so the one thing I've noticed with this so far is that it does jump around a little bit on tracking, especially if you move your head a lot. This is not something you get in the normal Quest experience. So there are some issues I think they've got to work on here, but by and large, it's been working really well so far. And again, you get those added graphical enhancements. But to be honest with you, if you play this on the Quest, you're not going to notice all that much of a difference. So good stuff there. So let me get out of this real quick. And that's that part. Now this was a native Oculus game. Oh no, it stopped streaming. Hopefully you saw all that. I guess you didn't see it. Let me try this again and see if I can get it to... I'm not sure what you saw and didn't see. So somebody in the chat could let me know what was working and what wasn't. Because, all right, yes, I don't know. Okay, so it looks like some of you saw that running, so hopefully that did work. Because when I just popped out, it like dropped me out of the thing there. So, yeah, so that's not streaming anymore. So we got to go back to the phone and then reinitiate the streaming. And I've got to have the phone kind of, or the headset like activated while I do that. So let me go back in here. All right, try again. Let's see if we can get you back up here. And the next thing we're going to do here is jump into let's see. It's supposed to be sending me an alert to ask me to stream to the Pro. Here we go. The next thing we're going to do is jump over to Steam, because I have a bunch of VR titles that I bought in Steam. And as far as the headset's concerned here, there it goes. Yeah, okay. Now, as far as the headset is concerned here, you will be using a Steam-compatible headset. It thinks it's an Oculus Rift. So let me get my controllers back in place here. And now what we'll do is we'll go over to my library here. Got them on the wrong hands. I think Smoke Monster was asking how the experience is sitting down. There's actually a good amount of sit-down games. Some of them are like stand and sit. So, you know, a lot of the Oculus games initially kind of depended on you being in one place only. just because that was the nature of the beast. There we go. So now if I go over to my library, let's see, home, I'm still getting used to the Oculus interface here. So now you'll see here, hopefully you see this, you should see, yep, the Steam option here. So we're going to load up Steam. And so what this does is it jumps you from the Oculus like home interface to the Steam home interface, and then you can load your Steam games up. Now you could also load the Steam games directly from the PC, but if you're inside the interface here, it's obviously easier to do it through your headset. So now we've gone from Oculus to Steam, and my computer just made a noise, so let me see if anything is problematic there. Okay, Steam wants some permissions here. See, this is the problem with this VR stuff. It just is always constantly a struggle. I think this is what's killing VR on the PC, is that there's so many things that have to always work. But I will say the Quest is probably, in my opinion, the best consumer experience right now. So let's try a couple of games that I find to be kind of fun here, and hopefully I won't pull the computer off. So this is Beat Saber. Now this is also available on the Quest, but I wanted to try this real quick to see what the latency is looking like. And as you can see here, I mean, it really is tracking pretty nicely here. And I have a little utility, by the way, that tells us the frame rate that we're getting. So we're able to see if this PC is able to keep up. And hopefully I don't get any copyright strikes on the game here. And this, by the way, is probably the most accessible VR game that you will play. So there's one song that I'm actually halfway decent at. So, whoa! There it goes. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go, I'll do hard. All right. And this is like, you want to keep your area clear. All right, and I'm just going to, oops, I just want to pause this real quick just to make sure you guys are also seeing it. Perfect, okay. So let me, oops, oh, hit the wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. All right, continue. So you hit these blocks, it's a rhythm game. And I'll tell you what, this is a really good workout. And this is the PC version now we're running on the Quest. And if you're going to see latency, this is where you would really pick up a lot of latency, and I'm not. I mean, it really feels pretty good here. I can't tell you, like, if you really start playing this game, it is a workout. My watch like records it like it's like I'm really doing a huge workout here. And of course you got cable issues. Now this runs on the Quest natively, so if you don't like having this cable hanging off the side screwing you up, you can just run it natively and not have to deal with the cable at all. All right, so that is that. Let me just pause this for a second because I want to make sure I'm recording my footage for later. So let me hit the record button here and get that going. All right, let me jump back in here and just finish this up and get a little bit more footage because I was not recording. So let me restart it here and you get a better sense. All right, here we go. And it's amazing what like swinging your arms around does from like a workout perspective. Like it really gets you going. And there's a lot of music that you can download and just install on the PC version, which I am not sure you can do on the Quest yet. So once you get into the swing of this, and part of it becomes muscle memory, because if you do the same song over and over again, you get really good at it. And there's some people who are just nuts. If you go on YouTube and start searching for some of these things, it's pretty crazy. And you got to move out of the way of these things. We are seeing walls come, or the Guardian popping up just because I have limited my Guardian based on the USB issues I was having here. Pretty cool. Ooh, and see how the cable gets in the way? And you look ridiculous doing it, but you feel really cool while you're in there. And I can't tell you just what a perfect VR game this is, because it's accessible. It combines like Star Wars with music, like Guitar Hero. Oops, wrong one. Ah! All right, here we go. Doing much better now. So I've done better in the past. And if we pull up my little wrist thing, where that? There it goes. So we're doing, so we're able to do about, so the average frames per second here was 70.5. This is on a 1070 on a laptop. So it could be dealing with some thermal throttling and stuff, but you get the idea there. So that is Beat Saber. And I am just going to make sure that, I'm just going to stop that recording. So let me take some, audio is reverberating real bad. Okay, so maybe what I'll do, is I'll kill the audio because you might be hearing it. I'm going to kill the audio on the stream portion because I think it might be picking up on my mic. We all get the idea of what the stuff sounds like. All right. So Real Mental Case wants to know how it's doing with a flight sim. Actually, it's pretty good. I was a little bit earlier. Let me get my other view up here. A little bit earlier, and I'll probably record some footage upstairs because it's a heavy lift. I was running X-Plane, and I was practicing my landings into my airport up the street. And it's good. That's a really challenging flight simulator for even a super high-end computer. But it was actually running a little bit better on the Quest. One thing that I'm dealing with the Quest is that the cable connection is not coming in with DisplayPort or HDMI. It's actually coming in with just as a stream of video. So I think what's happening is your card is compressing it and shooting it back over the wire. So it's not as sharp as I'd like it to be. So you'll notice that if you played that. I believe I have IL2, let me check, on this machine. So let me close out of Beat Saber real quick. And we'll take a look and see if we can do that one next. If not, I'll install it. And one button here brings up the Steam menu. The other one brings up the other one. Looks like I stopped my stream back to you all. So let me get out of here real quick. Now what's nice is there doesn't seem to be a performance penalty for using the stream, the Chromecasting here. So that's a benefit. All right, let's move that over there. All right, and I do have IL2. So let me go into my library and see. Let me just do that real quick. I'm not streaming to you all yet, but I will shortly. Let me just go over to, oops, hit the wrong button here. I'm just going to go onto my library here and see if I can install it real quick while we're doing some other stuff. So VR. I've been buying up a lot of VR stuff because whenever they have these sales, I just get stuff. So I'm pretty sure I have IL2 in my library. Here it is. So I'll install this. And let that download. 14 gigabytes, oh my goodness. All right, we'll let that go in and do its thing. And let me get my stream up again. So now what I've got to do is probably go back to the phone because I don't want to have to like quit Steam and go through all this. This is the problem, is like when you're trying to do the streaming stuff, like you're constantly, if you take the headset off, it puts itself to sleep. And in this instance, it's not as necessary because, let me get back to the other view here. It's not as necessary because the thing is plugged in and getting power from the computer. So let me hold down my thumb. So there's a little sensor on the Oculus headset that I can hold my thumb down on. And let me go over to Pro here and start streaming that. Should start in a second here. And what we'll do next Yeah, Gary, I do definitely need to do some spring cleaning for sure. It's been, what happens is that I get so busy that I don't want to stop working on videos because, especially now at this time of the year, because this is like Black Friday week and this is my biggest earning potential is right around now. So I like to keep the stuff going here. All right, let's see. See, the one frustration I have is that I can't actually get this thing to start streaming directly as I can when I'm in Quest mode, so I have to keep jumping back to my phone here. And it looks like it's like totally freaking out on me here. So let's go back to this button here. And then we'll try out a few others before we close things out. Let me kill the app here on the phone and load it back up again. What I'd love to be able to do is just turn off the all right, there we go. Pro, start. Hopefully that will get us going again. All right, so while that's going, I will see if there's any more questions that I missed. See you later, Martin. Thanks for stopping by. All right, it looks like we are streaming again. Perfect, okay. So while we're downloading the other game, oh, it stopped again. Good Lord. Why is this thing so difficult? Let's try this again. The good news is the Steam thing here seems to work pretty well as far as I'm gonna just have to do this and see if it can connecting. All right, there we go again. Okay, I'm just not gonna take it off for a while now. Okay, the good news is that the tracking works really well here on Steam. Again, though, you'll see occasional little glitchiness going on and stuff, so just be prepared for some of that. All right, so let us, here, this is a fun one. This one's called Operation Warcade. And I think Smoke Monster is going to like this one because this is kind of like Operation Wolf, except it's got like this quasi-arcadey kind of thing. If it's going to work, let's see. All right, here we go. So you start off as a, let me just make sure you're all seeing what I'm seeing here. Jake is off today, so I don't have somebody to help me here in the studio. All right, so take the gun. So here we go. All right, so it starts off kind of like you're using an arcade machine. And by the way, one of the things that I love about VR, yeah, so it's all 3D. So as you're playing this, it's actually got this immersion that will really surprise you because you feel like you're actually in a space. And so like what I'm seeing right now is like this 3D huge arcade machine, as you can see, and it feels real. Now this is running on the PC, and I'm still seeing a little bit of weirdness with trying to figure out my place in space here. But remember, we're not running an Oculus game right now, we're running a Steam VR game. And the sound effects in this are great. It's just a really fun game. It's called Operation Warcade. And I totally forgot to start recording footage again. These are grenades that I can toss. Do like a double gun here. Fuel trucks, I mean, you name it, it's got it in this game. It's really fun stuff. Let me just start recording here real quick before I forget. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, here we go. And then like you go into these immersive environments here, so then it just puts you into the scene. Look at that, we're like on the other side of the screen here, and you can duck down and you can get cover down here and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, like bullet time. And actually what's been fun about these VR games is that they constantly improve everything. So like the game won't be perfect when you first get a new one, and then they do these updates and things get better. It's just really amazing how this stuff just really improves over time. So this one, again, is Operation Warcade. And then you hit these things. Oh, then this is the truck level. This is kind of messed up. So this is something that is a little bit off right now. I'm grabbing the wheel and like the view is changing, so I think I'm doing the wrong thing. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so I must have been hitting the wrong button. So you got like really cool destructible environments here and stuff. So there goes the guard tower. So yeah, this one's a lot of fun. I'm out of grenades. And this is running at about 60 frames per second right now. And again, I'm on a 1070 laptop, so that's partly what's going on with this. And again, this is closer to the native frame rate of the headset anyhow. And what Steam VR does and Oculus do is they will fill in missing frames so you don't get a lot of lagginess, but you'll see things blurring together and whatnot if that happens. And this has all the cool sound effects that you would get in an arcade. And you're back in the arcade thing here, which is neat. He's got some guests here watching me play. And just got to keep an eye on this cable. What's funny too is that when you get into these games, you forget where you are. So somebody could come down here and just like totally freak me out. And if you get like a good pair of headphones on, it's like this amazing experience. So yeah, so Steam VR works quite well here. Let's go check out a few other games that I wanted to show you all. We'll see what the status of that download is. And it looks like I'm still transmitting to all of you, which is good. And I'm still recording, which is also good. And I'll check the chat in a few minutes here. So that is that one. Let's see. This one's pretty cool. This is a pinball game, I think. Yeah. Oh, no, this is something different. We'll come back to that in a minute. Where did the pinball game go? Pinball FX, here we go. Now, some of these games you might find on the Quest. A lot of the games that are kind of low requirements, the shorter experiences, those will run natively on the Quest. This one was kind of neat just because it gives you the real sense of playing a pinball game. I'm going to wait for this logo to come up here. Now again, we are playing VR games on the Oculus Quest using the new Link feature. And I got to buy that one and I can play these. So what's fun about these, here, I'll do this one, is that this is pinball, but you got all this stuff that happens related to the pinball game that you're playing. And I'll tell you what, it really feels like you are standing here playing a pinball game. Let's see how this works. You push a button here. Oops. I think these might have some control issues maybe. Let's see. Press launch to begin. Okay, so let's see if there's a button that has to be. All right, let's see. Resume game. Let's resume game. All right, here we go. All right, good for you. There we go. Okay. And then you just hit the buttons here on the side. And now what I see here, you may not be able to appreciate this on the stream, but I see a 3D pinball machine in front of me that feels scaled properly. This is an area where I'm feeling like the Quest is not doing as well as my Vive does. And again, this is all beta, so they can probably improve some of the positional tracking. So it feels like it's jumping just a little bit. Like if I'm holding myself real still, I see a little bit of movement, but overall, it is not bad. And again, this is coming from the PC, and the Quest obviously does really well with its native stuff. And you can get in closer here. And that's what I love about this VR stuff, is that the detail in some of these games is remarkable. Like you can look on the side of the machine here. You may as well be here. And everything's 3D, and it's not like looking into a 3D screen. It is really, you feel like you're there. Like this dude is just running all over next to me here. Just really, really fun stuff. So yeah, you could spend hours. So my wife and kids were away for a weekend, and I just spent like a whole like Saturday just playing these things constantly. It was just nuts. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, so that is the pinball game. And let me hit my Steam button here. Oops, wrong one. There we go. And we're going to go look at one other thing, and then we'll see where our download is at. So there's another game called Pixel Ripped. I don't know if this is available on the Quest on its own, but it's a really neat idea. This is called Pixel Rips 1989. And this is a game, but it's also, it's kind of an art project, if you will. This is normal, by the way. And you can see the hands here. One thing neat about the Oculus controllers is that they have capacitive sensors on the buttons, which you can have your thumb kind of close. Okay, so this one wants us to sit back and look forward. So let me grab my chair here. So to answer Smoke Monster's question, this is a game that wants you seated. So press and hold the lighted buttons on your preferred. Okay, so I'm going to push and hold. All right, we're all set. So now we are in position here. Just make sure everything is still recording and all that good stuff. We're good. The stream is still going. I will answer some questions in a few minutes here. Now this is like my kind of game. It's a 1980s crazy adventure thing. It involves this Game Boy. And you will be playing this in like a classroom. And I had started this on my other PC, so I think I have to kind of start from scratch here. So some really funky stuff that happens here at the beginning. But if you're a fan of retro gaming, you're going to love this one. So you see I have this like 2D flat controller here. And I guarantee you it gets more interesting than this. So you have to get through this to get to the fun stuff. So let's just do this real quick. But again, we're in this Game Boy screen, and you feel like you're in a room. That's kind of really weird. And I will say, I think I've mentioned this already, that the sharpness is not yet here on the Quest. It feels a little, it's not blurry, but it's not as super sharp as my Vive Pro is. And I think the Vive Pro runs at a similar resolution. And actually all right, so the whole jump to skip here. The Vive Pro, I should say the Oculus Quest, I'm sorry, I'm trying to play games and think at the same time here. The Oculus Quest is sharper than it is when it's running in the PC Link mode here. All right, so here we go. You can see your legs down here. Isn't this crazy? And so now they want you to look at the screen here. And what will happen in a second, I think we have to get through this part first, is we're going to basically, yeah, here we go. We're going to be in this classroom. And what you have to do is you have to play the game and distract the teacher. Okay, so it looks like I just lost my casting issue, which is right when everything got really interesting. So let me get this working here. Hang on a second, folks. Because this is the best part of the whole demonstration, is getting this part to work. Let's get this going here. All right. Bear with me for 1 second. We have to quit the app again and do this whole rigmarole once more. Oculus. Yeah, so there's some rough edges here. And in fairness, I think the Quest casting is an issue all the time anyhow. So, all right, so let's go to the Pro and start again. See if this will get over to you all. Because this is actually just a really cool concept. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so just to let you know what's happening here is we are in this classroom. Does she have a power glove on? She does have a power glove on. We're in this classroom, and we need to keep playing this game. And so you can see I'm playing this Game Boy game here. And I mean, it really feels like you're sitting in this classroom. It's just remarkable. So you're playing this Game Boy game here, and all this stuff is going on around us. And the teacher is going to come in, and we have to keep the teacher distracted so we can keep playing the game, is basically what the concept is here. And it looks like the teacher is not in the room at the moment. The kids are wrecking the place. And I can just play the game, and eventually what's going to happen is the teacher's going to come in, and everything's going to go ballistic. And I guess the character here gets... the character here gets built out as you play. And they're going to start picking on me. Oh, they all want to see the they want to see the game. And I have to, like, again, this, you can't I can't say enough about the immersion that you get out of these modern VR headsets. It's just amazing. And it's funny, this is actually looking pretty good here. It's actually sharper than it was earlier. Maybe I'm just wasn't wearing the headset in the right spot. But it actually looks pretty good right now from a sharpness standpoint. And the teacher's yelling at the kids to take the seats. And I forgot how I'm supposed to. Okay, so the teacher's going to get really angry here. Yeah, so the teacher's getting mad. All right, so now everybody's sitting down. The teacher is having her thing. And there we go. Yes, I don't know if this one's on the Quest or not. But it's kind of a neat concept because it's merging this idea of like a retro game or a retro style game with a VR experience where you're kind of sitting in this classroom, and I mean, it's just really cool. I haven't had enough time to really get into this one, but this is one that I think is just a really good example of how you can use VR as a storytelling device. All right, so we're going to use the spitball gun. All right, so let's grab the spitball gun. And then you're supposed to distract the teacher so you can get through the game. And if she catches you playing, then you get in trouble. And I think she takes the game away from you or something. So it's kind of neat when you think about like the multitasking you have to do here. So we're going to grab this and let's see if she comes back to yell at me again. But you may as well just be sitting back in school in 1989. I mean, this is the deal. You got the boombox over there and everything. All right, let's see if we can get through this here. Oh. All right, let's do a spitball in the back of this kid's head here. So good stuff. This one's a lot of fun. So maybe we'll do like a full stream on this one at some point because it's good stuff. So there you go. All right, so let's go back to Steam real quick here, and we're going to load up No Man's Sky. So you get a sense as to how this works. So really, once you get the right cable in place, you're in good shape to start. And again, I'm seeing a different experience here with. Let me quit this app real quick here. I'm seeing a different experience here with. I have no idea what I'm looking at here. I'm seeing a different experience here with. Sorry, I'm just like trying to figure out what's going on. The experience really on the USB cables is going to vary based on what your computer is doing power-wise. So I think what was happening before was that extension cable, for whatever reason, was just not working properly and giving the headset enough power to do what it's doing. So that was, I think, part of what was going on. All right, so we're going to go back. So right now I'm in the Steam thing because the home thing just stopped working. So we're going to go over to No Man's Sky next, and you can get a sense as to how this works. I have to say, this company, Hello Games, and I'll come back and answer some questions in a minute, everybody. Hello Games has done just tremendous work on this game because it started, as many of you know, as kind of a disaster. A lot of the things that they were talking about in the lead up to the launch were not there, but a lot has now made its way to the game, and it's a very, very cool experience. We'll see if it loads. I may have to go back to the computer and rejigger stuff. Yeah, it looks like something's not happening here. Let's try launching it again. All right, this might be a good opportunity to take a break and chat with all of you. So let me stop the recording here real quick, and we'll come back to the computer and just close out some stuff here. Because you have to have both like Steam and all this other stuff going at the same time. It can be quite a lot. So let me go take some questions real quick, and then we'll jump back in and do a little No Man's Sky. And I got to log back into my computer here also. And I will say, you know, when you have these headsets on, it does get a bit tiring, you know. So it's something that you've really got to be into. What I'm finding too with VR, this has been interesting for me as a content creator, is that I don't get a lot of traffic from VR stuff. In fact, the Oculus Quest was probably the first thing that really got any traffic-wise for me with VR. So I still think it's a very limited thing. Eric Bazinga wants to know if I would be up to a multiplayer VR game. Maybe we'll try in a few minutes Rec Room or something. We did that once before on a stream, which was a lot of fun. But I wanted to just get some footage captured from some heavy-duty VR games here for the PC. So maybe we'll try it in a little bit, but let me get through all this stuff here. I don't think I have Rec Room installed on this machine, so I'll need to get that going and log into it and all that good stuff. So in regards to the extension cable, now that I'm like not focusing on 3 different things at once here, I think what's happening with the extension cable is that this laptop is not giving enough power out of its USB port to satisfy the headset. And I think the resistance in that cable might be just enough that it's losing it. So, or it could be that the circuitry, it's got one of those 56K ohm things on it. It could just be that there's some interaction between the computer, the extension cable, and the other cable that's making it not work. Because upstairs, this has been working fine on my desktop PC. Although, there was one USB port that worked better than the other. So I think that might be part of the issue. Brian Mitchell wants to know if you can update the memory on the Quest. No. So the one you buy is the one that you get. You can't put it on a card or anything else like that, so you do have to pick the right one initially. Today they're having a sale on Amazon, so it's selling, again, I think the 64 gig is selling for the price of the 32, if I'm not mistaken, so it's a pretty good, I think it's a pretty good deal if you want to get into it. And honestly, I think if you are not looking to do a lot of serious VR work, the Quest is really a good place to get into it because you don't need the PC. First of all, it will work on its own. The Star Wars game we were playing a little bit earlier, I'm not looking at the time here, I'm just getting my two-factor thing going here. The Star Wars game we were looking at before, it runs really nicely on the Quest, even just on its own. So it's a pretty remarkable headset in its own right. And now when you have the ability to start playing around with PC VR, if you have a computer that's kind of borderline, for VR work, it can probably do a pretty nice job. So it's something worth looking into. So that is how that goes. Hey, Rerez is here. It was good. So Rerez well, first of all, we've got a lot of great people in this chat here, but Rerez is a friend of mine, and I met him in person for the first time at Retro World Expo recently. So that was kind of a fun thing. And he's got a great channel. I watch his stuff all the time, in addition to Smoke Monster and everybody else that follows me. I consume as much content as I create. Okay, so we got a little break in here. Let's see if we can get No Man's Sky working. Now, what I'm going to do real quick, and pardon the mess, everybody. It's just been a crazy, crazy month here. What I'm going to do real quick here is actually launch No Man's Sky from the PC directly. So we're not futzing around with all these menus and everything. So I'm going to activate VR mode here. And I realize you're probably looking at my derriere right now. So let me reorganize myself here. And we'll go back to my Steam menu. All right, so that's up. And I'm going to go over to No Man's Sky. And we'll boot this up. Now, No Man's Sky just had a pretty decent update yesterday. What's been cool about this game is that they're so community driven that they constantly are making improvements to the game and making it not easier to play, because it still has some challenging things to it. And a lot of it is building up your space fighter and your equipment and all that kind of stuff. So I got to relocate the Guardian here again. There it goes. Okay. All right. Okay. Actually, that worked great. So now I just need to get the stream thing going again. So let's go in here. And I'm going to start recording again as well. And this has actually been a very instructive thing for me today, because I was prepared to just like flat out recommend that extension cable. And it looks like that may not be the solution for everybody. Let's make sure this starts casting here. There it goes. I think we are good. Now keep an eye on this. And if you're not careful, I will spend months in this. So now this is something that you definitely cannot get on the Quest natively. So this is Steam Link again, or Quest Link or whatever. Hey, wait, it's not casting, is it? What's going on here? It says it's casting, but it isn't. Oh, there it goes. It just crapped out on me. Let me grab my phone again. Let's get this going. But I spend a lot of time in this game, because it's one of these things where I just like the concept of this endless universe. So if you haven't heard of No Man's Sky before, oh, it's going to the phone. Hang on a second. Let me stop that. It was casting to the phone by accident. So let's go back to here. I forgot where I left off here also. It takes a while to load, so I'm just waiting for it to load up anyhow. So let's go back to the Pro and start. And there we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think you all can see this now. Yep, we're good. And this game is just amazing. And what's cool is that it's as good in VR as it is in just on your TV screen, and you can play either way. So this game I started in non-VR mode. This is my spaceship. It's my fighter, and I can just grab it like that. Now this is where like it gets a little weird, because like you're always standing when you're on the planet, and then you go in the ship and you're still standing even though there's a chair here. So if you have a chair nearby or something, you can hit that and you'll be good to go. Now this game is incredibly demanding. And so here we are flying around in space. It's ridiculously good. I mean, I can't even tell you how awesome this was when I first tried it out. So I can do a little roll maneuver here. So and you can look around, you can see the back of the ship. There's these little details like this. Isn't that crazy? So now you'll see there's a planet in front of us, and I could just land on this planet if I wanted to, which maybe we'll do. And it looks like it's nighttime over there right now. So let's go hit the hyperdrive thing, or the pulse drive. Oops. And we'll just do this. And it's going to bring us right down to the surface of the planet. And this is one game where it's already demanding on the PC. You can see like how crazy my PC is, just unable to keep up with the frame rate that the game's demanding. But it is just amazing when you think about what you're able to do in this game. And it does run a lot better on my desktop PC upstairs. Like this is where like a 1070 and a laptop just isn't going to cut it. Whoa! And the other thing that's happening is that the controls are reversed from what I use it on my PC with. So I think what I'm going to do here in a second is, all right, make some adjustments here. So, woo! And you really can't crash at all. So you're somewhat protected that way. We got to find something to land on here. So let's take a look around. Yeah, so it's not running great on this machine. Just because it's a laptop. It's adequate enough on my computer upstairs. What I might do here is see if I can just tone down the video options a little bit and see if that Might help a little bit here. So yeah, let's go to standard and apply that. All right, well, we'll deal with that later. Okay, so let's go over to my controls. And part of it is if you see like the tracking's a little bit off, and that's just kind of related to this this issue we're having here. All right, there's an island down there. Let's see if we can pop down there. Yeah, this computer is not like in this game. But we'll see if we can land on this island here. Yeah, it's totally like bogged down. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. And the good news is the spaceship auto lands, so once you get over land, you're in good shape usually. Ah, wrong button. Yeah, missed it. Let's see if I can get it back around here. Woo! Whoa, whoa. Now you see that planet up there? We're gonna go visit that planet in a little bit. Yeah, let's go try this island over here, see if we can get to that one. Wait for it to settle down a little bit. Yeah, this thing's really having a hard time. And this shows you just how far VR has to go because you really need a lot of horsepower. This is a 1070. I get the wrong button here. There it goes. All right, so now we're on the surface of the planet. And if I want to get out, I can just grab my, isn't this cool? And look, I am on the planet. Here's the spaceship we just got into, and I can walk around. Now you can do like a auto walk, a walk with the controller thing, or you can just do the warp. And then I have some weapons here as well. Let's make sure I'm still showing you what I'm seeing here. Yeah. So I have weapons here as well. So if I go into my, isn't that awesome? And I can shoot this and mine that for something. So I'm getting ferrite dust out of here. And then you can use these materials that you mine to make stuff. I got a light on that. And I'm like on this planet. Isn't this cool? In an island in the middle of nowhere. And then every planet is very different. So this one's a toxic planet. There are some that are much friendlier. And what I can do now that I've explored this planet a little bit, I can just jump back in my spaceship and we can just take off and go someplace else. So we'll grab my throttle here, hit the button, and then we'll hit the afterburners here and we can just watch the planet slip away and go into space. And what I can do, if I want, is maybe go over to that planet over there. So let's point the ship at it. I mean, you can see how much time you can spend in this game. It's ridiculous. And when you're running on, like normally if I was just running this game on a PC, on this PC without the VR, it would just be totally seamless. And then I'm going to point myself here, and I'm going to hit the button and just activate my pulse drive. Oops. A ship just zapped in, so we'll get away from it a little bit here. All right, so we'll go do that, and then now we'll go land on this planet. And then you can warp into a different solar system, and there's a whole bunch of other planets you can explore. It just goes on and on and on. And there's some things that you can do. This is not a game that you ever finish, but you can build bases, and you can do, you really can decide how you want to play it. They've got like these permadeath modes and stuff that are just totally wild. Like I said, this will run better on a higher end PC. Maybe if I adjust the settings down a little bit. This seems to be doing a little better now. Maybe we'll set down close to the coastline there so you can get a view of what we're looking at. And I've got bases all over the place. I've got like a mining facility. Maybe I'll show you my mining facility in a few minutes. And that's where I make most of my money. I just have it mining stuff. And all of these planets are unique. They're all procedurally generated. This is insane. And then we'll put her down here and we'll hop out. And then if you are the first to discover a planet, which you will be, because there's so many planets to discover, you can name it. All right, so we're on the ground here. Looks like we're still, and by the way, this ship looks so cool. Like it's all 3D. You feel like you're in the ship. I can grab my, and this is an extreme hazard planet. So it's likely, I think this is a very hot planet. Yes, you can see the temperature. And you can see that my suit is having a hard time maintaining my health here. So I got to stay close to my ship because I could die. Now I can grab my thing here. Now what I could do is I can switch it into terrain mode here. And I could cut myself a cave if I want. So, and if I hop down here into this cave, it'll warm up, it'll cool off in a minute. You can see that the extreme thing there is like no longer, I can jump in here and just like restore my stuff. And I can fire that off and build myself a little habitat here if I wanted to. And of course we got that. And then I think if I have a jetpack here. Which is the button for the jetpack? One of these, there we go. I have like a jetpack and I can whoop, just jet out of here. Whoa! And by the way, if you get motion sickness, you know, there's some areas where I think you could get a little queasy. So, but they're pretty good about making things work better. You know, making things not get so queasy. But I just love this mechanic. Like just point the gun and shoot stuff. One of those birds up there, I can take that guy out. A little too high for my gun there. These guys are pretty strong. Here he goes. And I can go over there and see what I shot there. Oh, lost my live stream. Hang on, folks. Let me just grab my. Oops. See if I can get my screen up here just for a second, so I can fix the live this thing. So yeah, I just love this game. So yeah, let me get the stream working again real quick, and we'll go and visit my spaceship, because I have a spaceship, and I have like a fleet. I spend a lot of time in this game. And actually, what I do a lot of times with this is I end up going into the NVIDIA Shield in-home game streaming thing, and I do a lot with that. So let's go Pro here and start that again. And wait for this to come back up again. Uh-oh, I'm dying. Hang on a second here. I got to get back to the ship quickly before I die. Oh, where's my ship? Where did my ship go? There it is. It's over there. All right, so let's go back to my starship. I forgot that we're on this really hot planet. So if I don't, yeah, I'm getting, all right, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to be healed up here. All right, so now what we're going to do, oh, it dropped out again, darn it. Where did my phone go? Here it is. I'll try again here. Yeah, so this is going to be one of the pitfalls you'll run into if you're trying to stream this stuff. I could stream from the PC itself, I guess. But I like actually the image that it's giving me through the Shield actually looks better than the PC image, because it actually straightens out the image for you. All right, so our launch thruster does not have enough fuel, so I have to go into my inventory here, and I got to just make some more fuel. So you do this, and you do this, and you get some Starship launch fuel, and then we go. So there's a bit of a grind to this for sure. And then we got to refuel our launch thruster. So let's go. How do I refuel the launch thruster here? I was doing that before. Something's not right here. Let's try this again here. Quick menu. Yeah, something's. There we go. So I'm going to charge my launch thruster. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So now we're going to launch into space. And what we'll do here, whoops. So it looks like this control is not working properly. Something got messed up here. Let me go into my menu here. It's like this controller got a little detached from everything. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm seeing, like these little glitchy things. So what we'll probably want to do here is just quit the game and go back in, which is fine because we're going to Yeah, see, it's not even detecting my push there. So we're going to kill it manually through the... Yeah, we're going to quit the game here. Maybe the graphics will reset to that other mode. So let's let that reset for a second here. Yeah, so got some good comments in here. So I'll take a couple questions here. So Darren G wants to know, let me switch over my other camera here. Darren G wants to know about, wow, I've been doing this for an hour and 25 minutes, right? Darren G wants to know, I said the video is clear on the Quest screen. Is the screen door effect any less with the new Oculus Link? So it's not going to change the screen door effect at all. It doesn't look, as I mentioned, it doesn't look as sharp as my Vive Pro does. And I think that's a combination of the actual screens that the Quest has, in addition to the issues that you run into streaming this over USB, because you're not doing a display port out like you would on a native PC headset. You're going through USB with, I would guess, some kind of video compression. So that's probably what's happening there. Cameron says, I bet Lon was the kid that invited you to his house to play video games and never let you play. Yeah, well, if you were here, I would certainly let you all play, because it would actually be easier for me to talk while I'm trying to play the game here. So good stuff. All right, so let me go back over to the PC side here, and we're going to just jump back into this game real quick, just so you can all see the other things. And I think, oh, look at that, the flight simulator's here. You know, somebody wanted to see a flight simulator before, so let us boot that up real quick, because it looks like it has arrived. But you see my controller is kind of stuck here in Steam, so what I've got to do now, well, you can't see that. What I got to do here is reset Steam VR, because the controller tracking got messed up. And this is, again, because we're in beta here, this is the kind of stuff that we're going to run into with this. Unless it's still downloading that game. Let's see. Oh, it's still downloading. Okay. All right, so we'll jump back into No Man's Sky real quick, and then we'll take a few questions, and then I gotta, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna get, so it's getting late now, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do any Rec Room today, but maybe we should schedule something like that to do. 'Cause we did do that when the, we did that with something, one of the VR headsets I was playing around with. But I am not going to be able to do that today, because I don't have it installed, and then my wife's coming home soon, so I gotta get off the stream in a little bit. Okay, so we're back here. Let me find my phone here real quick. That's the one thing, this streaming thing is a real pain to keep active. So go to the Pro and hit the start again, and hopefully that will. But I'll probably come back and do a second stream with the flight simulator stuff, because a lot of you are curious about that. And I've got all that running on the PC upstairs, which I think will do better. And I'm just waiting for the stream to start up here again. The casting, I should say. But I like how it corrects the image. And I just wish that I could initiate the casting from, because right now if I want to do it from within the headset, I have to take the headset off and then do that. So let's put these down here for a second. So I'm going to quit the app here and go back into it again. And it seems like it could just be an app communication issue, because once I close the app out on the phone and then reinitiate it. So what I'm doing here, by the way, is the Oculus app allows me to initiate the streaming from the headset to the NVIDIA Shield from the phone, which is kind of neat, because I can't actually initiate it directly when I'm in link mode here. And I'm just waiting for the confirmation that it's going to start working again. It looks like we are casting once more. Okay, good. All right. So now what I've done is I've turned the settings down on No Man's Sky. We're still waiting on the flight simulator to download here, so we'll come back to that. Oh, it's still, see, it's still stuck. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull the battery out of this controller and see if that... So it could be that the headset just needs to be rebooted. Or maybe the controller does. It could be, yeah, so it's tracking the controller, but the... There it goes. Let's plug it back in here. Let's see if that corrects our controller issue. There we go. So the controller needed to be reset. I think we're working again here, yeah. Yeah, so Eric Bazinga, I know, wanted to do a multiplayer thing. We'll do that another day. But I definitely want to do that, because that was really fun the last time we did a multiplayer thing. I just want to get a few more screenshots here. I'm going to do maybe one or two other things, and then I got to wrap up. All right, so let's play the game, and we'll load up where we left off here. I think I'm still recording. Yes. Yeah, so one of the things that I've noticed with VR, you know, I've been using VR now for 3 years. I started with an HTC Vive. I upgraded to the Vive Pro, which I'm pretty happy with. I bought it when they had the Amazon Prime Day sale. And then I got the Quest, because I think the Quest is the future. And I like the fact that it's self-contained. And to be honest with you, if they really improve the link and make it more reliable, which I'm sure they will, I think this is going to be a really good alternative to look at for PCs. I mean, granted, you don't get the frame rate, but I think if you've never done VR before, the difference between 75 and 90 is something you probably won't really notice or miss. And I can say that the PC experience on this, even in beta right now, with all the garbage we've been dealing with, is still pretty good. All right, we're back on this planet, so we're going to go jump into our ship. This is running already much better than it was before. There we go. All right, so we're going to go take off here from the planet. Oh, we got to refuel our launch thruster again, so let's do that real quick. So let's go launch thruster. So then we've got to make our launch fuel. So this is like the one thing that people complain about with this game, is that you do have to, there's a bit of grinding in that you've got to make stuff. So we're going to make the metal plate, and then after you make the metal plate, you can make the launch fuel. And then if we jump out of there and go back to our quick charge here, oops, all right, there we go. All right, and whoa, into the ether we go. I just love this thing where you can look back and see the planet. And again, if you're on a more powerful PC, it's a lot smoother. It just looks awesome. And the sense of immersion is ridiculous. And this is a game that didn't start off as a VR game, but became a very good VR game. Now this is a fleet of ships. These are not my ships, but I'm going to go jump out here a little bit. If I can find the right button to push here. There we go. So I'm just going to get away from these guys for a little bit here. And now what we're going to do is go to the quick menu here, and I've got a whole fleet of ships. So I'm going to summon my freighter. And where did the freighter go? There it is. So here's my freighter. And then what you'll see is a bunch of my other ships come in also. So I got like this fleet. Now a lot of these ships are damaged right now. I have to go and fix them. Haven't had time to do that. And what you can do is you can send the ships off on missions, and then you can, that's one of my ships there. And you can say I can land on it and go in and fix it. And this is like a pretty economically active sector, because you'll know if you've got like a lot of ships landing on your ship that there's a lot of people that want to do some trading and stuff. And there's some glitchiness, like you see that asteroid is just kind of hanging out of my ship there, so, you know, not perfect, but. And so this is the inside of my freighter. And I can jump over here and. So, you know, this is a game, again, that won't run on the Quest natively. You have to use the link cable for that. I can go talk to this guy. He's a Viking warrior. I can just grab the thing there and say, hey, buddy. And what's neat about this is that as you play the game, you learn the languages of these different creatures. So I know the word interloper and trade, but not the rest of the stuff. But he's saying he wants to trade with me. So I can sell or buy items from him. So sometimes they have stuff that I'm looking for. So I can buy some Starship launch fuel, but that's kind of expensive. It's a lot easier to make it myself. So pretty cool stuff there. And then when you're done, you can leave. And here, let's jump over. And I'll show you my, I'm going to summon the space anomaly next, and then you can see one of my mining operation. And some people get really into this stuff. Like, you should see some of these bases these people build. And they're really building like a community now around this game. There goes my live streaming thing again. Hang on a second. I wish I knew why it was just like stopping. So let's go back over here. Yes, I think if you're a streamer, you're probably going to want to stream from the PC and not from the phone thing. But let me just pull up this thing again here. All right, so let's go back to casting, cancel, pro, start. Now I'll come back to some questions here in a minute, everybody. And this game is called No Man's Sky, in case you missed that earlier. And I'm just waiting for the casting to start up again. What I'm finding here is I got to kill the app. So if I had a wish list, I would say that I would love for them to integrate the Chrome casting when you're in link mode here. But if you're into space games, like, there is nothing better than this. I mean, it's just remarkable. You can sit in your spaceship here. Every planet that you see, you can land on. You can build bases and make a permanent home somewhere. It's just, it's all really cool. All right, so we're going to start casting. And hopefully this will work again. There it goes. All right, so now we're going to summon the space anomaly. Now the space anomaly is a way to connect with other players, and it's also kind of the community hub where you can get missions and stuff. So we're going to go to the quick menu here, and it looks like we are too close to a planet. So we're going to grab the stick here, and we're going to move away from the planet. Yeah, once I turn the graphics down, this is running a lot better. There we go. And so you have this pulse engine, which gets you around the solar system a little quicker. You can also warp to other systems. So let me show you that menu real quick. So if you go to your quick menu, you have this galaxy map. And if you have warp fuel, you can go anywhere you want. Now, what you're looking at here is the sector of the universe, or the galaxy that I'm in. So I'm in the Buddha Langer galaxy. I think there's like 30 or 40 galaxies with millions of stars each. Maybe billions of stars. And you can see that all of these stars are a different star in the game, and I can visit any one of these if I have enough warp fuel. Over here, you're going to see a bunch of these red marks here. So this is an area where a lot of players have settled. And I was doing one of these community missions where they try to get you together with people. And as you're playing, you can actually meet up with other people if they happen to be where you are. The game is so big, though, that you're never going to run into anybody unless you really try to find people. So that's where the space anomaly kind of comes in. So if we go in and dock with the space anomaly here, all the people that you'll see inside the space anomaly here are other players who are right now playing No Man's Sky. And it was neat. My daughter and I, we were playing the other night, and there's a Reddit group for No Man's Sky that has a community planet, and I built a base there. And then all the surrounding systems are now getting bases also. So we were just playing, and some guy was looking for something, and I said, hey, I got that part that you're looking for. And he went and found us on the planet, landed in the middle of nowhere, and just like got his part and left. It was just so neat. So this is the space anomaly. And what I'm going to do here is just go to the little Stargate that they've got. And this is that's a computer player right there, but there's other players that are in here right now. So you can see Jester there. He's a human player. And you'll see them running around in here. Like I said, if you happen to go to a planet or a system and there's somebody who's on the PC in that system at the same time, you'll run into them and be able to interact with them. And we're going to go over here to this Stargate thing, and I'll show you one of my other bases. And my base building is not anywhere nearly as good as some of these people's stuff is. So they have these community highlights, so you can see some of the really cool bases that the developers have found. And I can go to my bases here. And this is my moneymaker right here, the Engarl Outpost. And I'm going to warp to that. And this planet is very volatile, and it's very dangerous because it has these awful storms that are superheated. But what's important about this planet is that it has a valuable resource, and I've set up a mining operation here to mine these resources. And every time I go into the game, I stop in with my little warp thing here and grab my product, and then I sell it to the Galactic Trade Network and make all my money. So here we are. Right now we're in the middle of a storm, so we got to move quickly here. So I have the gate located right next to my storage units here. So what I'm going to do is just grab this here, and you can see we've got a full pipeline here. So I am just going to, let's make sure you can still see this. I'm going to grab this and throw it into my exosuit. And this is about like 9 million credits worth of stuff. And now it's going to start going again. And what I'm going to do, now that I have this stuff, is I'm going to call my ship over. So let me go over here. Oh, the storm's clearing. Okay, we may actually survive this. Let's see. As you can see, I don't have my batteries installed for my things, so I'll get my ship over here. And even though it lands on that, it's okay. All right, so temperature stabilized. Okay, we're okay. So let me take you for a walk. Whoops. Whoa. A little glitch there. So we're going to go up to that hill up there. And you can see what I've put together. Now this thing was here already. This is like a structure that is, you'll find these like randomly all over the place. And then up here are the mining units. So you have to use this special thing that you get to find where the resources are. Let me get up to the top of the hill here so you can see what I've got. So these are my mining units. And right now, are they operating? Yeah, I think they're operating. Let's see. You know what? I think I ran out of power. I got to deal with some power issues later. So right now it's nighttime, so my solar things are not working. But I have some batteries here that will provide power in the interim. And these things will run all the time. And then those pipes over there, those run over to my tanks. And that's where I pick up the stuff. So I don't have to come up to this hill often. And this hill is where the resources are. So I can't just I couldn't put it close to where the other things were. I guess I could have put everything here, but I thought it was just kind of neat to have the base over there with all the other stuff. So pretty cool, isn't it? And there's something else over there. That's a little refiner that I set up. Now what I wanted to do was have like a tunnel that would take me back. I just haven't built it yet. So that'll be something I work on maybe one night, just build a tunnel. And if I had the tunnel, I'll be protected from the elements here. Isn't this wild? And then I can jump back over to my ship. Now I can go through that portal that I have there, and that'll take me to other places. So for example, I could go, where's the portal? Yeah, actually what I'll do is I'll show you the community planet. Where'd the portal go? Sometimes you get a little lost as you're walking around here. There it is. So we'll go up to the portal here. Oops. There we go. Yeah, this is working much better now that I turn the settings down. Okay, so now I'm going to go to left stick, my bases, and I have. Yeah, I think this is the community planet. Let's go there real quick. And so this is that Reddit thing I was telling you about. But you can see how you could spend hours in this game. And this is the VR experience. And again, this is the same experience you'd have if you were just playing the game on your TV screen. So this game I'll play streaming to my TV set. I might stream it to my phone. I might play it on the computer directly. I could play it in VR. I play it on my TV set upstairs with that fiber optic HDMI cable. I've got like just a bunch of different ways that I can experience the game. And it is very convenient to be able to, take out a gaming laptop and this and just play anywhere, because the Oculus Quest, all the tracking is built in. All right, here we are. I don't know why I'm moving all of a sudden here. So this is Halcyon 2. Now this is the community planets. You see all that purple stuff? These are all other bases, and there could actually be players here right now. And this is one of these very rare planets, because this planet is what's called a lush planet, and it doesn't kill you. It doesn't have nasty weather. It's like really pleasant, and the creatures here are pretty benign. So yeah, it's cool. So we can get in our ship and we can go visit one of the other bases maybe. Got these weird spider creatures, and the spiders are all procedurally the creatures are all procedurally generated also. So every planet has different creatures. And I can pull up my, so that I haven't identified that one yet, and I can identify him. And then if I want to take my, there we go. So you have like this thing you can pull up like that, and then if I want to take out my gun thing here, I can holster it, or I can pull it out. I just love that move. It's just so cool. And it's just neat to have this gun that you can move around. If I want to take out that tree over there, I can, it's a little too far away. I can get that tree there. So I need some carbon here. I can just shoot the tree, get some carbon. Oh, I lost my live stream again. Hang on a second, folks. Just when it was getting interesting. So let me grab this thing real quick here. Ugh. And if I'm boring you with this, you can tell me in the chat. But you get the sense as to like just how cool this this game can be. All right, let's get into my phone here. And part of the challenge with this also is the fact that this Android phone does facial recognition and not fingerprint. And if I don't have the headset off, it doesn't seem to work very well. Let me see if anybody's chatting with me here. I'm losing a lot of you. So my understanding, because someone's asking if this is powered by the PC, it actually is powered by the PC. And so I don't believe the headset, and we'll check in a minute just to make sure. But I'm pretty sure it is powering the headset while you play, because this has been going now for about an hour, almost 2 hours, and I haven't, it's going to be 1 second here. I haven't charged this since like yesterday or 2 days ago. So when I started, it was 100%, or it's close to 100%. Bear with me for 1 second here. Let's just get this thing going back here again. I think it's this app that's like the problem. Back to the Pro. We'll check on all this stuff here in a second. And then, by the way, when you're done with the Steam link, you can just, or the Quest link, you just pull the thing off out of the Quest, and you're back to normal again. All right, there we go. All right, so let's get out of this mode here. So we'll do one more thing here, and then I will we'll answer some questions. All right, so we're going to go back to the ship. And if you're wondering, this game is called No Man's Sky. Definitely too much for the Quest to run on its own, and almost too much for my 1070 to run on its own as well. So what we're going to do here, we are going to just travel to one of these nearby bases. Let's see if I can find one that's close. So I built mine pretty close to some of these other people's things. It doesn't look like anyone else is actually playing the game right now, at least on this planet. All right, this one's pretty close. So we're gonna go into space real quick and then pop back down and hit his planet. I just love this atmospheric transition too. It's really cool. This planet has rings also. And then we'll just ease back on the throttle. Whoa, be back on the throttle here, and we'll come right down to Bumblebee's base. And we'll see what he's got down there. Yeah, I think for this, you probably want, this is a 1070 on a quad-core i7. So you'll probably want something of similar. Let's see if we can pull it down here and see what this guy's base looks like. There's some really cool bases on this planet, and there's a lot of bases on this planet. So this is just the closest one that I happen to be near, so we'll see what it looks like here. Oh, looks like we just had a little loading issue. This is probably a No Man's Sky problem. There it goes. Yeah, so what it's also doing is it's pulling down data as to what that base has on it, so there's always a little bit of a lag. And on this planet especially, there's so many bases that it gets a little bit laggy as you're walking around here. So he's built quite a little structure here. Actually, this is a good one to run into. Again, this is a player that made this, and there are bases like this all over the place, and you have a lot of neat things you can do. So these things he found on a glitch planet, as they call them, or a glitched planet. And we can jump into his base. He's got a portal in here, and then we can go up the ladder. And you can see he's got like a little statue thing here, and he's got just some cool stuff. So yeah, pretty neat. So yeah, that is No Man's Sky. So good stuff. All right, so let me pop out of here and take some questions from all of you. And then I got to close up shop, but I do want to come back. And I know Eric was looking to do a multiplayer thing with whatchamacallit, with Rec Room, which we will do not today, unfortunately, because I have to get back upstairs. But we got family in town, all that good stuff. So let me just see if I can get out of the game properly here. There we go, options, and then we're going to quit the desktop. Okay. All right. Well, that gives you an idea, though, as to how this works, and it's working well. For those of you who are tuning in late, we were struggling initially on the stream here, getting everything to work properly, because what I was doing is I had an extension cable plus the cable that I was using to go from USB-C to USB-A, and that was not cooperating with my laptop over there. So once we just went direct, it seemed to work. So I have got a ton of things to check on here. So Ramon was kind enough to let me know that there was a chair behind me. Yeah, thankfully I didn't kill myself this time. The good thing was with having to use that short cable that helped out quite a bit. Let's take a look here and see what else we got. Yes, that's right. So we were doing the Odyssey Quest, and we did a live Odyssey Plus. We did a live stream with the Odyssey Plus a little bit earlier. Hussein wants to know how I would compare the Vive Cosmos and the Valve Index. So I have not used the Vive or the Vive Cosmos, but I did use the Index. The Index was interesting because it's not using an OLED display like a lot of these headsets do. So the black levels were not as black, but it runs at a higher frame rate. The problem, though, is that the frame rate is really difficult to reach with current GPUs. Even if you had like a 2080 Ti, you will be really hard-pressed to get No Man's Sky to run at that sustained frame rate to really take advantage of that headset. The other issue that I had with the Valve Index is that I couldn't get the sweet spot, and what I was seeing was a bit of jelly vision. There was some image distortion as I was moving my head back and forth. So rectangles would get a little trapezoidal as I was moving my head around inside the VR environment, and it was unique to that headset. I get it a little bit with the Quest, but if I adjust it properly and hit the sweet spot, then it's fine. One of the issues with VR headsets is that they all have a sweet spot to them, and everyone's eyes are different. It's a very narrow place where everything looks the best, and if you can't get that with your head and eye configuration, you're not going to have a good experience. And that's why in many ways VR headsets are kind of like a pair of shoes, in that some shoes will fit you better than others, and there are some headsets that I guess for my eyes just won't work well with me. I'm going to disconnect this real quick because I'm curious to see what the battery's like on this. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. And if I check the battery level here, let me go and grab my controller real quick and just see what the battery's looking like here. There we go. So the battery, because people were asking if it's charging, Okay, so the battery right now on the headset is 85%. And we've been going 2 hours with this. So it is helping it. But I'm guessing there are things that will impact the battery life here, but it's not dead. Now, if I was just playing the Quest natively without it being plugged in, then it would. Yeah, it might seem a little out of sync. I am actually, here, let me go back over to the other spot because I am done with this area. So let me go move over real quick. Let me stop recording also. So I'm going to run over to my main studio thing where things will be in better sync. And I've got about 15 minutes before I've got to close up shop and do some family stuff because we still have people in town. So let me go back to camera 1 here and we'll get back to my usual spot. And I will take a few more questions here. So yeah, so it looks like it is actually working. And what as far as charging is concerned, and I do think that it will likely last as long as your eyes can handle it. So I don't think you're going to have an issue there. Let me just scroll down here. I'm just trying to catch up with all the chats here. All right. Okay. So Oculus is going to have a cable. That was one thing that somebody was asking, that Darren was talking about. So they're going to have, it's going to be about $80. I'll probably get it because that's the one that you know will work. It's going to be a fiber optic cable. So that should work. Cody B in Amazon is asking, can you use USB to PCI Express for VR headset Wi-Fi? I don't think so. This is strictly going to be a direct attached situation. And the reason why is that when you're using VR, any kind of latency is going to be noticeable. One thing that we kind of touched on when we were playing Beat Saber is that the latency is very low on this. So it didn't feel all that much different than what I typically experience with my PC upstairs. It'll be interesting if I go back upstairs later and just boot up the Vive Pro and see how it feels in comparison. I think it's going to be a little better, but it does seem to be working quite well. Eureka ordered a Samsung Odyssey Plus. Hopes he doesn't regret it. Here's my thing with the Plus. It's not bad. There are better headsets out there for sure, but I think for Windows headsets, it actually is good for what it's costing right now. My recommendation for folks, because I just had a conversation with a friend today, and he was kind of on the fence. He wasn't sure which one he wanted to go with. And my personal recommendations right now are, if you want something that is completely untethered to a computer that just works, the Quest is excellent. And what makes the Quest even more excellent now is the fact that it does work with the PC. Even in its beta form now, it's working really well. So he actually decided to go with the Quest because he has a PC that can run stuff, but he liked the ability to decide when he wants to use the PC or not for his VR. And I think if you look at install base and you look at consumer adoption, as far as VR goes, I think the Quest is what a bulk of consumers are likely going to choose because it doesn't require a lot of work to get working, nor a lot of hardware. So I think this is the future at the moment. And adding in the fact that you can now use the direct link cable to get your PC stuff going, you can start tiptoeing away from this somewhat good experience to an excellent one. And then when you're ready, you can go up to a nicer, higher-end headset. And I would bet you that within a year or two, Oculus will probably have some super high-end headset for folks if Facebook keeps funding them. So yeah, so my recommendation is the Quest first, especially if you don't have a powerful PC, because you can get the best of both worlds. If you have a powerful PC and the untethered experience with a all-inclusive headset isn't interesting to you, I think the Oculus Rift S is pretty good also. And the reason is that the only company that I think has got the resources and the drive here to really make VR work on a broader scale is Facebook, because they're putting a lot of money into this and they're losing a lot of money on it constantly. And again, from what I'm seeing, based on viewership for VR products that I review, this thing has been really popular as far as VR products go on my channel. And because 80% of my traffic comes from people that are searching, that leads me to think that this has got some consumer interest, more so than some of the PC headsets do. And remember, not everybody's a PC gamer. If you're, someone looking to buy a loved one a VR thing, there's nothing better than this because you know they're going to have a good experience. They're not going to have to buy anything else. So that's been my recommendation for that. Got a couple of off-topic questions, which I'm happy to take. Acid Monk wants to know, best 4-bay NAS for Plex. I would get probably a Synology right now with an Intel chip. Make sure you get the right one, though. So I think I can't think off the top of my head which one it is, but make sure that you go and look at my video on transcoding and NAS, and that it's got the processor that supports the hardware transcoding. Acid Monk says, I love the S, but being able to use it wireless when wanted is great. The strap was far more comfortable than the Halo thing, in my opinion. Yeah, there's something about this wireless thing that is really cool. There's actually a game coming out for the Quest exclusively. I think it's called Space Pirate Arena. And what you can do with it is set it up in like a gymnasium with a huge Guardian. That's one thing about the Quest that's really neat, is that there's no limit to really the size of the Guardian you can create. You can even turn it off completely. And it's going to be like this laser tag experience, multiplayer, and you're all running around with these virtual obstacles, shooting laser tag guns at each other. I just think that's awesome. And that's the kind of stuff that this can do that a PC headset that's always tethered can't. And you don't often need like super awesome graphics to have a good experience. And surprisingly, that Star Wars game we looked at, even though we were playing the PC version, the detail is really good on the Quest version too. It's a really remarkable thing that they've been able to squeeze into this fairly limited mobile processor. So that is good. Darren G, will you think of modifying the Quest with the HTC Vive Deluxe audio strap later? Probably not. I'm not very good at modding things, but what I might consider doing is using some headphones with it. So on my Vive Pro upstairs, the headset on that is terrible. It's got this built-in headset, and I took it off, and it was a lot of work because they don't have a headphone jack on that, but they do have a USB-C connector. So I bought a little USB-C to headphone jack and popped it in there, and then I've got my Sennheiser headphones that I use with it. Much better experience, and I think what I'll probably do is just plug my Sennheisers in with this. One thing on the Quest, though, that I see with this and my face is that I get a lot of light bleed in from the bottom here where the nose cup is. So I might look at getting a more robust face thing for this so that it'll block out more of the light. So that's my take on it. For movie streaming purposes alone with Dolby Atmos or HDR through all, which the Apple TV is for. So the question that Cameron's asking is it better to get a Apple TV or an NVIDIA Shield at this point? I would think that, really right now for universal compatibility, the Apple TV is a little better because right now on the Shield, you can't get Apple TV Plus, which I get through whatever thing I bought recently. So I have to use different devices to get those things working. Dolby Atmos is working on the TV for Disney Plus, but it's not working on the NVIDIA Shield for Disney Plus just yet. There's a lot of little things here and there that don't always work universally. So yeah, I mean, at this moment, I think if you're looking for a good compatible streaming box, the Apple TV has got a bit of an edge right now just because all of the stuff works on it for the most part. But the NVIDIA Shield is better because it's not restricted. So you can install all your emulators and all the other stuff that you can't install on the Apple TV. So I'm back to the point now where I've got different boxes depending on what thing I'm watching, and it's been really aggravating, to be honest with you. Jose wants to know which Oculus to buy. So that's a good question because, it's a toss-up. I would say that if you don't have a powerful gaming PC, then get the Quest. And the reason is that there's a lot more of these being sold than PC headsets, in my professional opinion. The PC headset market is very much segmented right now between Oculus and Steam and whoever else is making VR games. And as a result of this, if you buy this, you'll get all the Oculus games working in here without a lot of issues from your PC. I have no doubt that the link capability is going to be improved considerably as they continue developing the feature. The image quality will be better on a true PC standalone set, whether the Oculus S or the Oculus S essentially, or the Vive or whatever. So, again, it's kind of a toss-up, but I'll just tell you today, my friend and I were talking. He was looking to get a VR headset for his PC, and I told him about the Quest and what you can do with it. And he liked the idea of having the choice between using the Quest as its own standalone thing in whatever room he happens to be in, versus the PC thing, which is very much tied to where he is in the house. So I think it's a matter of what you're looking for. If it's PC only and never going to be anything else, then I think the Rift S is a good deal. If not, the Quest here, I think, is going to be a good alternative. And don't forget, the Quest is about to get hand tracking through the existing camera system. They've done just tremendous work on this thing, and it's a shame that John Carmack, who's one of the lead engineers of this product, is leaving, because I don't know what that's going to mean for the future here. But I can tell you, VR is not being adopted the way people thought it was going to be, and I think that's part of the issue that we're dealing with this. But I will say that I've been very satisfied with this, even as a standalone headset, and now with the link capability, I've been playing around with VR a lot more just because it's been convenient to do so. So right now upstairs on my big gaming PC, if I want to get VR going, I've got to get my HTC Vive Pro headset out. I got to bring the cable over. I got to get the headphones on. I got to turn on the two things that track movement, and then you can get in there. I don't like the Vive controllers very much. Especially if I'm playing Beat Saber, I'm constantly pulling the menu up and stuff. So it's fine, but it feels like work to get it going. This thing, if I'm in the living room, I can create a little Guardian and play the Star Wars game in the living room if I wanted to, because it's standalone. And then I just plug in that one cable and boom, it's working on the PC. So it's been working much better on the PC upstairs than it did on the laptop there with the extension cable. So that is my 2 cents on that. Cameron D wants to know if I'm going to review the Google Stadia. Yes, I do plan on reviewing the Google Stadia. And one of the things that I was thinking about doing with Google Stadia was talking about the things that are good about it, because nobody's talked about anything good. It's not a good platform from what I've been reading, but it's something that I think might be worth looking into, because there could be a market for it that perhaps the gaming community is not best suited for. So it's going to be something I'll be playing with. I will most likely do a live stream of me playing with it, so look for that. Cody B in Amazon was wondering, I was looking at the HTC Vive Cosmos on a laptop with a 1660 and a Ryzen 7. Yeah, I think you'd be okay with that. 1660 kind of meets the minimum, but again, remember that for good VR, if you're using the Rift S, which I think is like 80-something frames per second, or the other headsets that typically do 90, your GPU has to be able to hit that to get the best experience. And if you're on a laptop with a 1660, you're kind of starting behind the game, because as these developers get more ambitious, the games are going to become more and more demanding as time goes on. So that might be an area where you may find some disappointment. One of the things that is neat about the Quest is that I think developers, first of all, are getting incentivized to develop for it by Facebook. And also, it's the same for everybody. Everybody's got the same exact configuration. So when a developer develops a game for this, it's going to work really well with the Quest hardware. So that's, again, part of it. It's like I said, it's just a very difficult time for VR, because I just think it's been really difficult for the average consumer to get into it. Even PlayStation VR, which is probably the most successful VR platform, it requires more stuff. You got to have the console, you got to hook this stuff up to your thing, and This, take it out of the box, turn it on, you've got VR, and it's good. And so I hope this does well throughout this coming year, especially the holiday season. I would bet you that they're looking at holiday as the make or break for this device. And if it doesn't do well, who knows what will happen, because this is really VR's best hope here, and it really is so well executed. Chanflay98, thank you very much for your super chat contribution. David Yablonsky says, game streaming is awesome on the Xbox. Yes, I wish I could try it out. And they're very well positioned there because they have the Xbox Game Pass already. So you could start off that game streaming thing in a really good place. One thing that I really like about the NVIDIA Shield is the upcoming NVIDIA streaming service, which is in beta right now, allows you to play games that you've purchased through Epic or through Steam. So you get your whole Steam library there. And for example, I could boot up No Man's Sky, play a little bit off the NVIDIA server, quit, because it's a Steam syncing game. When I go back to my desktop PC, my game is all synced up from the cloud when I was playing it earlier. It's just really good stuff. So really cool experiences there. All right, well, guess what, everybody? It is almost 5 o'clock p.m. where I am, and I've got to go back upstairs and hang out with all the family that are here. Cameron D, though, on my way out here, wants to know if I'm ever going to review 4K Blu-ray movie releases. You know, this is the problem. I am not, you know, I know the hardware with this stuff, but I'm not to the level that HD.TV Test is at, or you know who I'm talking about, the guy that does those great reviews. So probably not. I just don't know enough about the things I should know about to decide whether or not a movie is a good transfer or not. I look at it and say, yeah, it looks good to me. But I know that's not what people are looking for in that genre. So I'm probably going to steer clear of that, but I will certainly recommend a good player to play that movie on. So that's how we're going to do it. All right. Well, Jose, thank you very much for the love of my channel. I am greatly appreciative of your support and your viewership. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this afternoon as I've been capturing some footage for an upcoming video. So what I'm going to be doing is a quick video just kind of updating people on how this link process works with the Quest. And what I was doing was just grabbing some footage just to show people how it's working. So it seems like it'll be a good video, hopefully, and it'll be a good follow-up for this because a lot of folks were curious about that new feature. So that was the plan today. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in via YouTube and everyone who tuned in via Amazon. And I'm going to be back again soon with more stuff. I'm streaming to Amazon now a couple days a week, so I will simulcast over here to YouTube. And thank you, Smoke Monster. He stuck around the whole time, so thank you for tuning in. Glad you enjoyed the stream here. VR is good stuff. What I really want to see, and there's some work on this, it's not all there yet, I want to get light gun games working in emulation on these. And there is an arcade thing that does this sort of, but there's a lot of calibration and stuff involved with it. And I think it would be cool just to build out like a little arcade virtually that has all the light gun games that I'd love to play, because that would be really fun stuff. So cool, everybody. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. And, you know, these streams are tough for me because I'm not used to having to entertain for this long a time, but I'm glad you all enjoy watching me tinker with stuff. And I will continue tinkering with things as time goes on. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you all very much, and I will be back very soon with another video. So stay tuned and have a good evening and enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend if you are here in the US celebrating Thanksgiving. See you all later. Bye-bye.